I've been arrested over 20 times, stabbed. If I had to do it all again, I would do it. Life is not about what you get away with. Life is about what you get done. The older I got, the more I realized that all you could be is the strongest link you could be in a long chain. Every race in the world relates to its history. Jews, never forget. Irish, the struggle. Chinese, Japanese. We need to make sure that history says that in our generation, we did not drop the ball. I consider whatever pain and suffering that we may have endured, that's just the price we paid. It's a lot less than the pain and suffering of those that were ahead of us. If we had studied history, studied Harold Washington in Chicago, studied Dave Dinkins in New York, we should have known that they were coming behind Barack Obama with something. We called Dave Dinkins every name in the book. Wasn't hard enough. Going to all these banquets with whites. And the result is we got Rudy Giuliani. What drove our progress was black radio, black newspapers, black television shows. If we didn't have a WLIB talk all the time, we would have never elected Dave Dinkins. We have less black radio now than we've had in 100 years. We don't own our own narrative, can't tell our own story, and anytime somebody else decides your story, it is no longer your story. That's why we need Black History Month. The importance of the black church was not only their religious beliefs, which I do believe in, is that they worked for us. We put our money in, we owned our church. Anytime you go from where leadership is not owned and paid by us, but by others, then who are they leading for and what are their interests? When I was 9 years old, I was already a boy preacher in Brooklyn, New York. Mahalia Jackson came through Washington Temple. Heard me preach as a boy preacher and took me on some dates on the road. Mahalia Jackson sang at the 63 March on Washington where Martin Luther King made the speech, I Have a Dream. And to be able to be on the stage and preach before she came on a couple of times is indescribable. Not long after that, 1968, a black woman ran for Congress in Brooklyn named Shirley Chisholm. She won. This woman was as brilliant, as bright, and courageous as anybody you'd ever meet. And she had to fight both racism and sexism, including sexism among other blacks. But she took them all. And then you get on in the movement as we see Coretta Scott King. Here's a woman who had to raise 4 kids with no husband because he got killed for us. Dr. Betty Shabazz. I remember when my 2 daughters were born, she sent for me when they were about 3 or 4 and said, Reverend Sharpton, where are you going to send those girls to school? She says, those children will be harassed with their last name because you're kind of controversial, you know. And she gave me a check and put those kids in a black private school, Johnson Prep. These kind of firm women, these kind of women that mothered a nation, these kind of women that saw us through, that understood our weaknesses but could see our strengths through our weaknesses. They're who shaped black history. I met James Brown in 1973. I traveled all over the world with him. He would send for me. I remember one day we were getting ready to march and James Brown said to me, I don't know what y'all marching for. I know President Reagan. I said, well, you ought to go talk to him. To my surprise, late afternoon, they called back and they asked James Brown what he wanted. He told them he wanted to talk to Ronald Reagan about a federal holiday for Dr. King. They gave him an appointment on the very day of Dr. King's birthday, January 15, 1982. And James Brown said to me, Rev, I'm gonna take you with me. And that's when he made me style my hair like him and all that. And it's the first time I ever went to the White House. And there was a big movement. Stevie Wonder made a song in the Coretta King. So I'm not saying James Brown got it done, but he was one among many. Never did I think that day that I was walking in the White House with the man that made Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, that I'd be walking in that White House one day to talk to a black and proud man who was the President of the United States. It's been a long journey. I've seen too many victories. I was there when Barack Obama put his hand on the Bible and was sworn in president. I was there when they lowered the flag in Johannesburg, South Africa in the square and took down the flag of apartheid and bossed it up and announced Nelson Mandela was elected president. I've seen a lot of history and tried to keep it going.